Agera, Esprit, and Zonda passed through the gate in high spirits. Behind it lay a circular structure, something like a battle arena, and a lone man was waiting for them inside. "Ah, you little rats came to me in a pack, didn't you? Only natural, I suppose, if you're fighting the likes of me." The man let out a guttural laugh as he readied the spear in his right hand. "Before you die, let me tell you my name. I am Garcia, 5th-ranked Imperial Guardian and one of the Emperor's 4 personal bodyguards. And I hope you cursed demons appreciate the chance to fight me before you fade from this world." With that cry, Garcia hefted up his spear. It was legend class, about as close to god class as you could get without reaching it. In fact, and a mere touch could even obliterate spiritual life forms. But Agera's group kept their cool. "We're not interested in your name." "What an idiot, huh? Calling Sir Benamere a worm. He can carry on like that only because he fails to realize the limits of his skills. If I were him, I'd be so embarrassed that I'd be in agony for 3 days." Garcia wasn't exactly instilling fear in any of them. In fact, they didn't hesitate to say exactly what they felt about him. It infuriated the man. "You little rats are starting to piss me off. I don't realize my limits. Well, how about I show you just how high they are, then?" Then he released the power he had been suppressing. When someone reaches the saint level, their magical counts compare well against an awakened demon lord. Agera's group were all demon peers themselves, but the difference was still several orders of magnitude. Garcia stepped forward, his body radiant with intense fighting spirit. That alone made the arena's marble floor crack. "You better brace yourself, bastards. Brace yourself, and regret making me angry." Whether he was angry or not, Garcia probably would have done the same thing either way. That's what everyone thought, although no one said it out loud. Agera held a steadfast defense, acting as a shield for Esprit's magic, while Zonda provided crucial support. Garcia, however, sneered at their cautious formation. Dismissing their tactics as cowardly, the arrogant warrior remained certain that these demons posed no true threat to his inevitable victory. "Ha! Cowards. All going around, bragging about being demons. Well, you're no match for us. We are the strongest of knights, and we've exorcised your kind many times from the world. I've heard talk about how demon peers are these almighty creations, up there with demon lords, but those are just tall tales from small minds. To us, you're all nothing more than worms." Garcia's spear tore through the marble floor, but his bravado was met only by the calm indifference of Agera and Esprit. While Agera parried the heavy blows, Esprit utilized her unique skill, Observer, secretly relaying battlefield intel to Lady Carrera. She carefully hid her true potential, fearing that if Zoe discovered her talents, she'd be forced into a life of endless espionage. Meanwhile, the cautious Zonda retreated to the shadows, staying well out of harm's way. Watching them dodge, Garcia smirked in triumph, completely unaware that their helplessness was a calculated deception. "Ha! That's all you have, then? Running around like scared little mice won't let you beat me." Garcia, an imperial saint of immense spiritual power, faced his foe with a holy spear and legend-class armor. Empowered by subjugation conquest, a gift from Emperor Rudra, he converted his aggressive will and vitriol into a lethal purifying force. Garcia's strategy relied on goading enemies into reckless mistakes through constant insults. Yet, as he unleashed his bravado upon the demon peer Agera, he met an unsettling composure. His psychological warfare failed, leaving the frustrated warrior struggling against an opponent far trickier than legend suggested. "Calm down, human. You have far too vulgar a mouth. I do not see all humans as inferior, but it must be said that every soul has a certain dignity to it. And you should know that a person truly vulgar at heart cannot hide it, no matter what he does." Garcia, who saw his attitude as an act he played up to improve his fighting power, was now being told that, no, his actual soul was just as crass. It sorely offended him, causing him to slow his pace and reveal more of his true self, never realizing that this was Agera's attempt to provoke him back. He continued to evade Garcia's attacks with minimal movement, still not drawing his sword, and that wounded Garcia's pride even more. Esprit, watching this up close, was amazed at Agera's agility. If he's this good at close-range combat, why is he even a demon at all? He can't even cast a single magic spell. It seems so silly to me. It was with this mixture of praise and put-downs in her mind that she kept watching the fight unfold. This, too, was transmitted to Carrera in real time. "Silence," shouted Garcia, now clearly agitated by Agera. "I will defeat you all and offer your heads to His Majesty the Emperor." Rather soon for that talk, isn't it? I am generally a patient man, but I can see you are rather impatient. Still not as bad as Lady Carrera, though. She's so short-tempered and simple-minded, it can often be difficult for me. This, of course, also got instantly relayed to Carrera via Esprit. Esprit never told Agera about her power. She kind of had a mean streak that way. He's gonna be in so much trouble later. He. It was almost like she was an audience member instead of an active participant in this battle. But what Garcia said next brought her mind back to reality. "Impatient, you say? You bunch of fools. You haven't recognized the difference in our abilities yet. Are you saying that your master is that little brat with dark blue hair? Or that sassy blonde instead? That white-haired beauty needs no introduction, but she's as clueless as a toad at the bottom of a well. Garcia spun his spear above his head, thrusting it straight at Agera. Then, proudly and triumphantly, he dropped another bombshell. I'll tell you this since you'd be ignorant of it otherwise, but there really is such a thing as true monsters in this world. If you knew the true powers of our marshal, Lady Valgrand, you'd know exactly what I mean. And Lieutenant Kondo is a terrifying man as well. Nobody can defeat either of them, not those ogres, and not you demons, either. They'll all be slaughtered pathetically, like stinking insects. Only when things progressed to this stage did Esprit finally stop sending information over to Carrera. She had gotten so worked up that it took her longer than expected to shut the skill down. By then, however, it was already too late. Ha ha ha. I just heard a very funny story from Esprit. Carrera sounded cheerful about this, but there was already an edge to her tone. Oh? What kind of story? Ultima asked, already guessing what it was. Well, the enemy inside this gate just called you a little brat. Aha. Blue veins streaked across Ultima's forehead. It made Varen start to panic. If this was going to happen, he regretted not jumping into a gate the first chance he had. Deep down, he reminded himself that sometimes, ignorance really is bliss. And he said you were a toad at the bottom of a well, Testa. A toad. Testarossa was stunned into silence. Many had praised her beauty. None had ever rebuked it before. Being called a toad was a first in her life, and it made her so angry that she couldn't even properly express it. That, and he called all of us stinking insects. Benamere raised an eyebrow. First it's worms, and now it's insects, he asked, not looking too pleased about it. He seemed calm at first glance, but now he was thinking he should have stepped in and taken care of this foe himself. Only so he retained his serenity. So you can maintain a channel with her in this dimension created by Lady Valgrand. A very interesting skill there. He crossed his arms and remained silent, keeping a perceptive eye on Esprit. The cat was out of the bag with Zoe, and he'd doubtless be sending Esprit on all kinds of covert missions from now on, but that's a story for another time. Carrera's report continued. This man claimed that we'd never be able to beat Lady Valgrand or that Kondo guy. He's really dragging our names through the mud, I'd say. Apparently we have nothing but a pathetic slaughter ahead. Her tone was matter of fact, but that's only because she was too busy trying to process her own emotions. Carrera could certainly dish it out, but taking it was another matter. Well, Testarossa flatly stated, you never know how a competition will turn out until you try. It was true that they couldn't beat Valgrand the first time around. But Testarossa wasn't being a sore loser here. She meant every word of it. And her crimson eyes eloquently told everyone there that there'd be no defeat next time. By the way, Carrera, there's something I don't quite get. Why does he keep calling us insects and worms? Is he really that strong and stuff? Ah ha ha. Of course not. And even if he was, I still wouldn't stand for this. Carrera denied Ultima's suggestion with a laugh. But her eyes weren't smiling at all. They were filled with an air of danger, like they could explode at any minute. No need to show him mercy then, huh? Absolutely not. That human's gone too far with us. Ultima was enraged. Carrera agreed with her, holding back the urge to lash out right here. But it's a shame. And here I wanted to put him in his place with my own two hands. Tell Agera that he doesn't need to go easy on him. Once he's done, maybe I will forgive this, then. Of course. He insulted us, after all. He deserves to pay a penalty for it. Nobody was there to put a stop to this conversation. Ultima was boundlessly cruel, almost to the point of innocence. Tesserossa's cold smile was tinged with terror, the kind that struck fear in the hearts of anyone who saw it. And Carrera, meanwhile, was always cheerfully spreading destruction and emptiness across the world. Their merciful sides were long gone. They would never give comfort to the enemy. To these girls, if giving them a painless death was mercy, then killing them as they suffered was forgiveness. It was death either way, but for them, it was a big difference. Varen, listening to his master speak, spat out his own bile at Agera's current enemy. His bosses, the Devil Lords, were never to be offended, but here this man was, ranting and raving at them. It inwardly troubled Varen. Oh, you foolish human being. I can only hope it is you alone who will pay for this foolishness. That was all Varen could wish for now. He knew just how terrifying Ultima could be, but more than that, the fear his former enemies Carrera and Testarossa filled him with was beyond description. The very fate of the world could depend on where they decided to point their anger. I only hope we can quickly eliminate that fool and appease their wrath. Please, Agera. Your only hope. Varen, great demon as he was, wailed over how powerless he was in this situation. It was up to Agera, who wasn't as powerful as he was, to handle this. But regardless of the demon's internal conflicts, Benamere had an order to give. Carrera, can you relay our words from here to inside the gate? I haven't tried it before, but I think so. Then tell them not to allow their foe to make any more offensive remarks. Carrera nodded, intervening in her channel with Esprit, and wishing she had done so sooner. Esprit, can you hear me? Je. Lady Carrera. You owe me one for that, Je. But never mind that. Carrera grinned. Then she gave the order, the malice palpable in her thoughts.